How many times have you watched a magician performing a cool trick and wished you knew how they did it? Well, no longer will you have to wonder, because today's Insane Curiosity reveals the top 10 greatest magic tricks in the entire world. Number 10. Linking rings. Linking rings trick is one of the staple tricks of every illusion magic performer. In this trick, a magician appears to link and unlink solid metal rings forming long chains. The trick was popularized by 19th century Chinese stage magician Qing Ling Fu, but it is thought to have originated in the Middle East in the 1st century. One method of performing this trick is to use a mixture of rings and keys that contain an opening. The magician then links the rings together by keeping the opening on the key rings concealed with his hands. The other method takes a little bit more skill, but it involves using 2 or more solid rings that are already linked together and cannot be separated. In this case, the magician will use sleight of hand to create an illusion of linking and separating the rings. Number 9. Turning a $1 bill into $100. Everybody enjoys magic tricks that involve money, especially when you make it look like you can easily turn a dollar into 100. The trick was popularized by magician Stuart Edge, who put his magic to a good cause by performing this trick for homeless people and letting them keep the $100 bill. Here's how you can do it too. Place a small piece of double stick tape on the bottom corner of the $1 bill and take the $1 bill and fold it in half twice horizontally. Then, one more time vertically. Do the same with the $100 bill. The part with the sticky tape should be on the surface of the $1 bill. After you've finished folding it, now take the folded $100 bill and place it on top of the $1 bill and let them stick together. Unfold the $1 bill and show it to your audience while keeping the corner with the folded $100 bill attached to it, hidden with your fingers. Then fold the $1 bill one more time, and the same way you did it before, flip it, unfold the $100 bill. Number 8. Pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Pulling a rabbit out of a hat is one of the oldest tricks associated with magic and magicians. Some sources claim that the first magician to pull a rabbit out of a hat was a Frenchman, Louis Comte, in 1814, while others say it was Scottish magician John Henry Anderson who first performed the trick in the mid-19th century. The trick is super easy to perform since you don't need any elaborate props other than a black hat with a secret opening and a white rabbit. The trick is done by placing the hat on a table, which also has a hidden opening through which the rabbit, kept in a compartment under the table, can be pulled. Quickly take the rabbit, flip the hat over, and wow your audience by pulling the rabbit out of the hat. Number 7. Removing your head. The head drop illusion is an old magic trick that was recently revived by many YouTubers who use it to pull pranks on unsuspecting people. The trick usually involves the magician who pretends to sneeze before his head suddenly drops off his neck and down to the middle of his body. Here's what you need to know if you want to try pull this trick off yourself. Get a plain black t-shirt and cut a V shape all the way down the middle of the chest area. You also need a loose jacket, another uncut black shirt, and a metal coat hanger. Put the uncut black shirt on the first, followed by the cut shirt and the jacket. Then take the coat hanger and place it between the cut and uncut shirt. Now it's time to perform your magic trick. After pretending to sneeze, reach back onto your left hand and grab the collar of your jacket and the coat hanger itself and pull them both up while pushing your head down through the V shape in the cut shirt. Try it out and let us know in the comment section below. Number 6. Catch a bullet. The bullet catching is a famous stage magic trick where a magician appears to catch a bullet fired directly at him in his mouth. Usually, an assistant is skilled with firearms, will load the gun and show it to the audience to prove that it's just a regular gun. The assistant then fires the gun through a target to show that the gun is working perfectly before aiming it directly at the magician's mouth and pulling the trigger. The magician then collapses to demonstrate the force of the bullet, before rising and spitting out the bullet onto a tray. What actually happens in most cases is that the weapon is rigged in advance. Either the gun is made to fire blanks or the gun is loaded with a magnetic bullet. In the first case, all the magician has to do is keep the bullets in his mouth until it's time to spit it out and show it to the audience, while in the case of the magnetic bullet, a small magnetic fix to the ramrod forces the bullet back out immediately after the gun is loaded, so the gun never actually fires a real shot. As simple as it might sound, this trick is actually one of the most dangerous ones, especially if performed by people who don't know how to handle weapons. Number 5. Sawing a woman in half. Sawing a woman in half is one of the oldest and most recognizable magic tricks, which used to be a part of the Public Performance and Circus Act since at least the 1920s. The trick involves a magician and his female assistant who lies down in the wooden crate or box divided in 2 halves, with her hand and ankles firmly tied. The magician then picks up a handsaw and proceeds to cut the woman in half. He then separates the 2 halves of the crate before pushing them back together and letting his assistant get out of the crate unharmed. To pull off this trick, all you need is a wooden box with some fake legs attached at the bottom. The box needs to be long enough that an adult female can fit in 1 half, and you need to keep it far away from your audience so that they won't notice how deep the box actually is. After the assistant climbs into 1 half of the box, you proceed to cut off the bottom part and pull the 2 halves apart, leaving your audience amazed at your magical abilities. Number 4. Underwater escape. Legendary escape artist Harry Houdini was one of the first who popularized the famous underwater escape trick. The trick was composed of 3 parts. First, Houdini's feet were locked in stocks and his hands were cuffed. Then, he was suspended from his ankles with a restrainted brace and finally submerged headfirst into a glass tank filled with water. The tank was covered with curtains by Houdini's assistant, and after only a couple of minutes, the magician would emerge from the tank unharmed. The secret of the underwater escape trick lies in the part of special handcuffs. The Houdini would heat over an open flame to loosen the spring mechanism before putting them on. Houdini was cuffed by keeping his arms upright, but as soon as he would turn upside down and lowered into the tank, the loose cuffs would snap open and the magician would then use a hidden key to unlock his ankles and escape from the water tank. Number 3. Levitation. You've probably seen many of videos of Indian yogis who appear to be levitating in the middle of the street while supporting their whole body weight with just one hand placed on a rod. While these yogis will tell you they have mastered the art of levitation through meditation, fasting, and years of discipline, it turns out this is nothing more than a clever trick. But that doesn't make it any less cool. So, how does the levitation work? What Indian yogis does is take a small, thin metal plate and conceal it with a rug. The plate has a rod firmly attached to it, and the levitator makes sure to sit directly above where the rod meets the plate. This way, all the rotational forces cancel each other out, which prevents the whole structure from moving. If the weight of the elevator approaches any of the edges of the plate, he will tip over, which is why the edges of the plate will need to be as far away from the center of gravity of the levitator as possible. Basically, what the yogis will do is try out different positions until they find the perfect balance between stability and tipping over. Number 2. Making the Statue of Liberty disappear. On April 8th, 1983, Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty vanish and then reappear in the front of a live audience of 20 and millions of viewers watching the event on TV. The trick lasted only a couple of minutes, during which the statue is obscured from the view of the audience with a single curtain, before David pulls it down to reveal the famous New York landmark is nowhere to be found. At the end of the trick, David explains that he wants to show everyone how precious liberty is and how easily it can be lost. So, how did he do it? After over 3 decades since the famous trick was performed, we finally have all the answers we need. What happened was that those 20 people who were part of the audience were sitting on a platform that slowly rotated after the curtain started to fall down over the statue. By the time the curtain dropped the way down, the audience was unknowingly facing a different direction and looking at empty space, convinced that that was the place the Statue of Liberty was. They were fooled. Number 1. Walking on water. Is there any magic trick more impressive than walking on water? Some of the world's most famous illusionists have performed this trick on camera, including Criss Angel and British magician Dynamo, who famously crossed the River Thames on foot. So, do you have any idea how this trick works? Don't worry, you don't have to rack your brain too hard. I'm basically just going to tell you how it happens. In Criss Angel's case, the trick was performed simply by using a transparent plastic underwater platform, and to that clever camera angles, you're walking on water. Dynamo's version of the trick was slightly more elaborate and expensive to pull off, but it was based on a similar approach. While Dynamo does a great job of pretending to wobble as he walks on the water, he's actually stepping on a concealed floating platform made of special glass that look invisible when wet. As for the two police boats that can be seen in the famous video, they were just paid actors. Disappointing or impressive? Tell us below in the comments section, guys. Thank you for watching another Insane Curiosity video. Have a nice day, and goodbye.